The midterms set the rules for what happens in my daily life. So when I'm talking about voting for my local politicians, I'm talking about the guy that helps determine who fixes the fucking potholes that I keep busting my rims on. The rims is expensive. Okay? Picks up the trash. You know? Who runs these punk ass police around here? What happened to community policing? When they gonna get out the car and stop running around like they gangbangers? You know what I'm saying? Who's the sheriff? Who's the judge that keep unfairly sentencing these young black boys to jail time instead of some corrective measures to get them socially prepared to recover from some of the traumatic damages in their lives that send them into places of criminality? Who are these people? Why do I keep checking these damn boxes and I don't know who they are, what they stand for? But then I want to sit back and complain about the quality of life in my neighborhood. And then I say, my vote don't count. Well, it don't count if you don't cast it. Stupid ass. Who told you your vote didn't count? The people who don't want you to vote. We need to stop listening to them and listen to us. Listen to us talk about everything that we do and don't like about our communities. Let the us and us talk to the us and us and get rid of the them and them. Right? Because we keep talking amongst ourselves, complaining to our neighbors, to our housemates about the shootings, the robberies, and all these other negative ventures that get drained out of our brain every day. I'm on a little app called Nextdoor. And all I see on Nextdoor is everything that's happening in a 20-mile radius of my home that's negative. I don't see none of the positive stuff. Why? Because there's not a whole lot of positive stuff going on. It's being drowned out by the negatives. There's some positivity out there. But positivity don't make fun news. You know, we don't want to hear about some career nice guy when I can hear about a career criminal. That shit's more sexy. That's ignorance, by the way. Us versus them. The state of play. We're dictated and told how to vote locally because we don't do any investigation. But it's real simple. They got to have debates. They have town halls. We can't just go by the commercials that we see on television because that's propaganda. Whichever way the candidate wants the public to lean, whatever the hot topics are, that's what's going to be in the commercials. But I want you to pay attention. Because see, when they kicked out Roe versus Wade and started looking at the abortion thing, we all went right to the media hacks' voice and said, oh, they just canceled abortion. That's not what they did. They didn't cancel abortion nationwide. That's not what they did. What they did was they took away the woman's right to choose what happens to her body. And they used abortion as the hot topic in that line of healthcare and decision making for women so they can get on a side of religion, pro-lifers versus pro-choicers, right? They chose that abortion ticket because it's sexy, it's loud, it's something that's going to aggravate, agitate, and get people to thinking. But understand something, I'm talking to you women out there. If I knock on your door and you answer it and I tell you, pull your panties up, you can't have sex today. Take that lipstick off. You can't even go to work. Go sit your ass in the corner. You're a second-class citizen. That's what they just did to you, young ladies. They relegated you back to being a second-class citizen because you don't have the rights to determine what's good and bad in your life. It ain't about abortion. It's bigger than that. It's us versus them. It's about them saying to you, young ladies, we gave you the right to vote. But when we classify minorities, why is being a woman a minority classification? That makes being a man a superior classification. Have you thought about that? Us versus them. Why is it when we do minority set-asides for business that women are set aside as minorities? And why is that acceptable to us? Why, women? Why y'all accepting that shit? So you accept those handouts, but not the bullshit that comes with it. You have as much right as anyone else in these great states of the United States of America to be recognized as a full-fledged citizen and have the same rights as every man. Ain't nobody coming into our bedroom telling men to put that rubber on because we don't want no babies. Ain't nobody doing that. Ain't nobody chastising men for their behaviors, but they sure would denigrate a woman. But y'all think you got some even Steven around here? Nah. And if you're a black woman, you're not a second-class citizen. You're a second-and-a-half-class citizen because your blackness just kicked you down wrong a little bit. See, that's us against them. And we keep making strides, but we keep putting the same people in power. And we wonder why our quality of life does not get better. We get all these redos. How does a state as poor as Kentucky keep voting in Mitch McConnell? Between him and his wife, they're some of the richest people in the state. Because you got money makes you better and more qualified? No. Come on, people, you can't be that stupid. We can't be. We got to judge people like Martin Luther King said by the content of their character. By who they are and by what they do. What they do, not by what they're directed to do. See, there's a grand difference. A lot of people don't like Donald Trump. I personally don't like Donald Trump. That's because I've had personal interactions. Okay? I've studied his lineage. I've looked at his family from Fred all the way down to Donald. I know the entitlement that lives inside of him that governs him. Right? I know about the white supremacist DNA that runs through his blood. So that's why I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the individual, not him as a president. Him as a president, he helped some folks out. Rich folk like him with the tax credits and so forth. He did things like, let's give money to the rich and it's supposed to trickle down to the poor. Ain't nothing ever trickled down no damn way. You know that trickle-down theory that came in with Reagan, who was acting like a president because he was just an actor, who ended up having his wife run his last couple of years of the White House because he was suffering from Alzheimer's right in front of us, but we didn't want to say anything. We keep doing this redo. We keep crying about how we're treated as minorities, but we keep voting in white supremacists. What the hell is that? That's us versus them. See, you got to understand it's not racial. It's not black versus white. It's not that. This company that is called the United States of America, this company, not this country, because it is a business. Let's understand that. It's a business, okay? It's run by people who don't give a shit about the people that they're governing. When you look at the Senate and the House, 60% of their time is spent fundraising so they can continue to have this job for life because there's no term limits. You got these old cats with this thinking from the 30s and 40s and 50s still writing law. And you think our lives and the quality of lives going to get better? How? How? Strom Thurmond was here until God called him home. But he was a redneck through it all. Come on, people. Look over in Virginia. You got the new redneck in Youngkin. He used the hot topics to get into office. Had parents thinking we're going to vote him in because he's going to give us a voice in education. Yeah, But he also gonna help them strip you women of your rights as citizens. Oh, y'all don't be paying attention. It's us versus them. And you don't know what team you belong to. So you're sitting on the sidelines trying to be us, chopping it up with them. Make a decision. See, if you for them getting better, their pockets getting fatter, their quality of life increasing, and their domination over the citizenship getting heavier. But if you for us, you're about our quality of life getting better. You're about saving this fucking planet. You're about some equality in economics, equality in housing, job equality, equality in education. You about all of that. If you're us. Now let's take example, this whole thing with the student loan.